Rolling in my hoop, bro. Sounds on crank, AC on the free, so you know I'm rolling windows down, yo. Beer on plug when I'm rolling, keep it humble, watching for these laws, cause you know they clocking for the fumble of road, boy. Trying to make it out this jungle, got hope for the bullet, Lord, keep me out of trouble. Hard enough on the straight and narrow, nigga trying to fumble like some bitch, but I swear I'm down for the rumble. I'm just a broke boy with dreams like a dope boy, but life can be a bitch sometimes like oh boy. But I wrap up mine like simple 5 in the deep boy. Real niggas stand 10 toes in. Life tries to destroy. Pride comes before the fall. Watch the heavens a trick boy. A way to get sick, but tell me how can you enjoy when you never been annoyed and shit is on like a bus boy. The last shot we first, so don't trip when you the McCoy in this furnace of affliction. Ain't tripping off these decoys. Fastilo show up these boys. Comes like Bruce Leroy, call me boy, and I'll destroy. Ego, yeah, Everest I'll enjoy. Like zebra cakes to a fat boy. Rolling in my hoop, bro. Sounds on crank, AC on the free, so you know I'm rolling windows down, yo. Beer on plug when I'm rolling, keep it humble, watching for these laws, cause you know they clocking for the fumble of road, boy. Trying to make it out this jungle, got hope for the bullet, Lord, keep me out of trouble. Hard enough on the straight and narrow, nigga trying to fumble like some bitch, but I swear I'm down for the rumble. Keep it pushing when you taking L's all the time. When your life's on the line, all you gotta do is grind, baby boy. Keep it pushing, get the all coming time. Don't feel these haters on your line, and every dozen there's a dime. So no, all these hoes come with shine. If one trip, there's another one for sure on the horizon line. Daddy J progressing me, mama on her knees praying, cause I'm in these streets like sesame, no felonies. No, I'm surrounded by people in that kind of me. Do the poor decision based off of this economy. Don't feel you on the break, cursing with the grinding me. These crackers got blacks and Hispanics in autonomy. Just follow me. Rolling in my hoop, bro. Sounds on crank, AC on the free, so you know I'm rolling windows down, yo. Beer on plug when I'm rolling, keep it humble, watching for these laws, cause you know they clocking for the fumble of road, boy. Trying to make it out this jungle, got hope for the bullet, Lord, keep me out of trouble. Hard enough on the straight and narrow, nigga trying to fumble like some bitch, but I swear I'm down for the rumble. Alright, let's clap it up. Alright, it's the Israelite School of Universe Practical Knowledge, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. You know what day it is. It's Friday. You know what I'm saying? It's the Lashawan Qadash class where we get into our native language, breaking down our culture. You understand, from a linguistic standpoint. You understand? We're going to start off this class like we always started off. You understand? We're going to break down these alphabets. All right, let's do it. All right. Repeat after me. Ah. 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 Ma. Da. 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 Ha. Ha. Wa. Wa. Za. Za. Ha. Ha. Ta. Ta. Ya. Ya. Ka. Ka. La. La. Ma. Ma. Na. Na. Sa. Sa. I. P. To za. To za. Qua. Qua. Ra. Ra. Sh. And the. All right. So today's class, you understand, we're going to get into, let's see, make sure you guys can see the board pretty good. There we go. All right, today's class, we're going to get into stems, right? So I get a lot of questions, right? Like, after class, we all hear you talk about, the qual stem or the field stem or the field stem. Like what are these stems that you're talking about? Like, and how can we identify them? Okay. Hey, do me a favor, Mazza, can you like back this camera up just a little bit? I like how you can see the board pretty good. Just back it up just a little bit more. All right, that's perfect. All right, so all right. So what is a stem formation? Right, a stem formation is a verb to indicate both kind of verbal actions. You have the simple, you have the stative, and you have the causative. You understand? And the voice of the verb, which is the active, passive, or reflective. Okay. Now, so the qual stem, all right, so like prime example, the qual stem gives context to a word, right? You understand? Like if I like prime example, like a word amar, right? Which means to speak, right? If I say Waya Amar, right? And he spoke, right? So it's giving the action, right? Right. So is it simple, stative, or causative? And he spoke, right? So it's not stative. You understand? It's not causing something. So in this case, it's simple, right? The qual stem is the simple form of a verb, right? So Waya Amar, right? And he spoke. Not only is it a simple kind of verb action, right? You understand? It's an active, right? It's an active of the voice of the verb, right? So the verb is doing something. It's an action verb, okay? Right? So the different type of stem forms that we have, right? We have the qual stem, right? The qual stem is the simplest form of the verb, right? So I gave the example of Amar, right? Same thing with the bar. It could be William DeMar, William DeBar. You understand? So on and so forth, right? Then you have the Nafal stem, right? Which adds a na or nun, which is the actual name of the alphabet, but the sound of it is na to the beginning of the verb, right? Then you have the high field stem, often has a ha before the verb, and then you have the pa'il stem, which doubles the second radical or second letter, right, of the verb. So all these things are very, very important, right? So this is how you start beginning to understand context. These stems, right, give context to not only the beginning of the sentence, right, but it also gives context to the word, right? So like a root word would be debar, but like if you go like to that look up, you try and type in William debar, which is actually what's written in the Torah, right, which is a simple form of a verb, it's not gonna come up, right? Because it's only defining root words, right? Verbs, right, give action, right, or a voice to a verb, right? That's what these stems do, all right? So today, all right, we're going to start off with the qual stem, which is the simplest form of the verb, all right? So you're going to get understanding, because like if you don't understand this, right, you won't be able to break down scripture, because prime example, the majority of the scriptures in Genesis, right? Right? The majority of all of Genesis uses the qual stem, right? That's not in all cases. Like I said, there are multiple stems. There are more stems than this, right? But these are like bread and butter, right? You understand? You got your guns, you got your butter. You understand? This is the butter right here. You feel me? You understand? So But we're gonna start off with the qual stem because the qual stem is used the most. Because you understand, like Hebrew is a brutish tongue. It's a very straightforward language. It's not a tongue of flattery. It's not like, if you could please entreat me with the honor of your presence. It's like, no, come sit now. Come here. You know what I'm saying? It's very straightforward, right? So the qual stem is the simplest form of the conjugation of verbs giving context to a noun in a sentence. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. We're gonna get into the qual stem. All right. All right. You got all this, Matza? Almost. All right, no sweat. Let me know when you're done, brother. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, but like I said, this is very, very, very important to understanding the beginning of transliterating and breaking down scripture. If you do not get these stem forms or whatnot, you will not be able to break down scripture, reading the Torah or reading Tanakh. Like, this is pivotal. Like, this is like 101 of understanding Hebrew and being able to break it down. All right, you got it, brother? Can I start erasing the top? All right, no sweat. Where you writing that right now?
My mama said peel.
All right, no sweat. So I'm gonna erase this. You at the hafil?
Peel for last.
All right, no sweat. I'll leave that at the bottom while I'm writing the new stuff on the top. All right. I'll do it one more. All right. So, like I said, we're gonna start off with the qual stem. Okay. From the definitions before, I'm going to put this in a box up here. So, we're dealing with, it is the simplest form of a verb. Okay. This is what we're dealing with. This is what the qual stem is. The qual stem is the simplest form of a verb. You got all that at the bottom, brother? All right, no sweat. Go ahead and erase this. All right. Okay. And if you have any questions, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and type them in. I'll have the brother just make sure, you know what I'm saying, you type your question and he'll ask them, you know what I'm saying, just let me know if you have a question. I'm going too fast. You need me to slow down, you need me to explain something. It's not a problem. All right. So dealing with the qual stem. All right. So the verb that we're going to the verb that we're going to use today is tall. All right. So the verb that we're going to be dealing with is quatal, right? At the top, you have the Paleo Ancient Phoenician Hebrew. At the bottom, Salakia. All right. At the bottom, you have the Assyrian, right? So the word quatal means to kill, right? So this is the verb that we're going to be dealing with today, all right? Or one of them, okay? So the first thing that we're going to be dealing with is, let's see. We're going to be dealing with the, I'm going to put this in a box right here, right? We're going to be dealing with the perfect paradigm. Please look up the word paradigm for me. Paradigm. D-I-G-M. Okay? While you're looking that up, I'll get started with the writing. All right? So, whenever you have it, go ahead and read it, Amatazah.
A typical example or pattern of something, a model.
It's a what?
A typical example or pattern of something, a model.
All right. So a paradigm is a typical pattern of something. We're dealing with the simplest form of a verb. So the perfect paradigm is the perfect pattern of the simplest form of the verb quatal, which means to kill. All right. So the first one that we're going to deal with is the actual word itself. Okay. Quatal. All right. So, okay, I'm going to break this down, right? It's the actual word itself, right? Which is a masculine singular third person, right? Which means he killed, all right? So that's masculine singular third person, all right? So we have that. I'll write in Hebrew over here. I'm going to do, just we have it, matter of fact, we have it at the top. So I won't write it in Hebrew on the side right here. So the original form of the word quatal is masculine singular third person, right? Okay. Why is it masculine? Reason why it's masculine, to kill something or to kill anything is a masculine act, right? So it's singular, right? Because it's not plural. It's not saying they killed. It's he killed. Okay, right? And it's third person because it's talking about something, right? We're talking about something or someone. He killed is third person. All right. So the next status that we're going to do, all right, is going to be the feminine, all right? I'm just gonna, if you see me put a double line right here, that just means it's the same thing as above, okay? Right? So feminine singular third person, right? All right. She killed. All right. So the next thing that we're dealing with is the feminine singular third person, right? Which is quatala. Quatala, right? You're going to add a huh at the end, all right? When you're dealing with the qual stem, right? Anything feminine for the most part in all cases, you're going to add a ha at the end, all right? So the feminine singular third person form of quatal, which means he killed, is quatala, which means she killed. All right, no sweat. Everybody got that? All right, we're gonna move on. All right. The next form they're going to deal with is masculine singular second person, right? Which is qua tall the. Okay, which is you kill. All right, let me make sure I'm writing the Hebrew for these words over here on the side. Okay, so we got what? All right. And we have tall. All right. So you can have the, can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. All right. So you can get the Hebrew at the end, right? I didn't write on the first one because it's right here at the top. All right. So, so the masculine singular second person is Qatal the, right? You killed, right? So the reason why it's second person, right? Because it's like it's me and you. It's like we're talking, right? You did something, right? You understand? And if it's me and you talking, we're talking about someone else, it's third person. That person killed something, right? So hopefully that helps you understand first, second, third person, right? Think of it as a conversation. If me and you are having a conversation, I'm going to say you, right? Okay, if we're talking about someone else, we're going to say he or she, right? That's third person. First person is like I, you know what I'm saying, or me, okay? All right. Okay. So the next form that we're going to do, of course, is the female version of it, the feminine. All right. So we got feminine, second person. All right. Actually, it's doubles. All right. So this is, I'm going to change that so I don't waste space on the board. This is masculine and feminine, right? So Qatal the, right? You killed is interchangeable for masculine and feminine. Okay. All right. Sis, just so you know, just give you a recap. So what we're going over today is an understanding of the STEM forms, right? Get with your brother to, or you can go back and watch class to get the names of the different forms and the definition of the forms, but I'll tell you real quick. So, all right. So a stem formation, okay, is to indicate both the kind of verbal action, whether it's simple, stative, or causative, and the voice of the verb, whether it's active, passive, or reflective, right? In biblical Hebrew, all verbs have both a stem form, whether it's qual, nafil, peel, or hyphil, and the conjunction, whether it's perfect, imperfect, imperative, or etc. These work together like two layers. Each layer supplies different information, i.e., context about the verb. In biblical Hebrew, there are 7 major stem forms. Several of them are rare ones, which I don't really go into. I just go into like the major ones. So the major ones are the qual stem, the nafil stem, the high field stem, and the peel stem. Right now, we're breaking down the qual stem. We're going to go over the different paradigms, right? Paradigm as far as like the most common usage of it. So in this case, we're doing the most common usage of the perfect simple form of a verb. The verb that we're using today is qatal, which means to kill. Okay, so this is breaking down masculine singular third person, female singular third person, masculine and feminine singular second person. Okay, and that's where we are. All right. Okay. All right. So moving on. Okay. So we're going to go into, all right, C is for common. All right. Singular. First person. All right. Shalom, sir. Come, sir. All right. So the next form that we're dealing with is the common singular first person form of qatal, which means to kill. Right. So that form would be qatal thaya, I kill. Right. So in sentence, it would be anya qatal thaya. Right. It kind of rhymes. It goes together. Right. Because in the beginning of a sentence, when you're using I as a form, you use anya. Right? So anya qatal thaya, right? Okay. So if you're saying you killed, you're gonna say atha qatal tha. You're gonna say atha qatal tha, which means you killed, right? You understand? If you're gonna say he killed, you're gonna say hawa'a qatal, right? Which means he killed. All right. For she killed, I believe it's hawana, right? Qatala, which means she killed. So it almost because, like, black people, you understand, people of color, right? When I say people of color, when I say black, I mean blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? Like, we are a rhythmatic people. We say things in rhythm. You understand? They flow. They go together naturally. You understand? So you'll start understanding this when we start putting sentence structures together, right? You understand? They'll start to rhyme. So, I mean, not all of them rhyme, but for the most part, they go hand in hand together. Okay. All right. So the next form that we're going to do is, all right, we're going to do common masculine plural second person. All right. All right. So the common masculine plural second person, right, is Qatal Thumb. You kill, right? So a common example that we use in sentence when we pluralize something, right? And Salaki, that's in a masculine form when we do a salute and we salute a group of brothers, right? We say Shalom Shalom Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Baraka Thumb, right? When we're greeting a group of brothers. See, just right then and there, you didn't even know that you've been using the qual stem all along when you greet a group of brothers. You're doing the simplest form of a verb. You understand? But what we're doing right now, we're breaking it down from a linguist. You know, we all took language. You understand? When we was in elementary school, so we breaking down the different context of it. You understand? So the common masculine plural second person is thumb. So when you're dealing with masculine plural in second person, you and a group of men, you're going to say thumb, right? So when you say it's like saying you kill, like saying y'all kill, right? So I'll put that in parentheses above it. You know, we in Texas, so we say y'all. Right, which is short for you all, right? So, yes, sir. If you could put it aside for me, sir. Con out of one con, damn right. You understand? So, all right, sis. It's like so. The common masculine plural second form is called tall thumb, right? Which is you kill, or actually you all kill. Talking about a plural group of people. Okay. So next, of course, we're going to get into the common feminine plural second person. When you see these double lines, it just means it's the same as above. Okay. All right. It is Qatal Thun. It's the same thing as above, right? All right. So the same thing, like when you greet a group of sisters, you be like, Shalom Yahweh Shema Ilathan Bahashem Yahweh Shai, right? So, like I said, this whole time, just in the school, you know what I'm saying, you've been using the pause stem, you know what I'm saying, in the perfect paradigm, in the simplest form of a verb, right? So whenever you're talking to a group of women, right, in the second person, like it's you and a group, you're addressing a group of women, right? It's thon, it's second person, right? You understand? And it's plural, right? So we're dealing with common, feminine, plural, second person, right? Which is Qatal Thon, which means you all or y'all killed. Talking about a group of women killed something, right? You understand? So, all right, so got a couple more, but before I erase what I have here, just want to make sure I go over everything. So masculine singular third person is the original form of the word. Original form of the verb, which is qatal, which is what we're dealing with, to kill or he killed, right? If I was in front of it, it would be he killed, right? So the feminine form of it would be Qatala, which means she killed, right? Masculine or feminine, second person singular, right, is Qatal Tha. So it'd be like a Tha Qatal Tha, which is you killed, right? Okay. Common singular first person, you understand, is Qatal Thaya. You understand, which means I killed, right? Saying this in the sense would be Anya Qatal Thaya. I killed. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the noun is, right? Okay. All right. Where was I? All right. Common masculine plural second person. All right. Dealing with men again is Qatal thumb. Right. Anytime you're dealing with a group of men, you're going to say thumb, right, as the suffix. Okay. Similar to when you're dealing with the common feminine plural second person, which is Qatal thun. Right. When you're dealing with a group of women, you're going to always say thun. All right. Does everybody have this before I move on? Got it, sis? All right, no sweat. And again, if you have any questions online, please type them in. If you're dealing with a topic or subject matter, if you have a question about a certain word or a scripture that you want to try and break down, we can get into that as well. All right. If you want to get a true biblical meaning based off of the Hebrew, we can get into that as well. All right. Okay. All right. Where did I stop off at? I stopped at the feminine. All right. Okay. So now the last two dealing with the perfect paradigm. Okay. We're going to do the common plural third person, right? Which is Qatawa. All right. So we have Qatawa, right? Meaning they. Okay. So let's see. Give you an example in sentence forms like you. All right. So this is dealing with so whether you would say, so the masculine is Han, the feminine, Slakia, is, so Slakia, the masculine is Ham, the feminine is Han, right? So you would be like Ham Qatal Wa when you're dealing with a group of men saying they, right? And you would say Han Qatal Wa for they killed if you're talking about a group of women, right? But we'll get into breaking down. Matter of fact, before I go into the next paradigm, I will give you the list of breaking down a sentence, right? Giving subject matter to the sentence. But like you were saying, like for men, like they kill, you would say Quatawa, which is they killed, or you would say Han Quatawa, which is they killed, dealing with a group of women. All right. We'll get back to it. Forms. All right. Last one we're gonna do for the perfect paradigm. All right, is going to be the common plural first person, right? Which will be qua, tall, Salakia. Quatal, Noah, which means we killed. True. All right. So Quatal, Noah, right? So, well, I mean, I'm about to go over it anyway. So you can understand like sentence structure. Okay. So make sure you have this down. Be right back. So make sure you have all this down. Be right back. All right, so now we're going to begin to start putting this together. All right, so we're going to start formulating a sentence with this qual stem that we've started. So, just going to refer back as I'm writing, right? Okay, all right, so let's do this. All right. So this is when you start dealing with, right? It's when you start dealing with a when you start dealing with a pronoun and a verb together. Okay. All right. Whether you're dealing with present tense, past tense, or future tense, you're going to need what we're about to go over. Okay. All right. So, all right. So I'm just going to write, well, I'll write them both. All right. So we're going to deal with the first one, I. All right. So I is Anya. All right. right? Which means I, right? So now we're going to put it together with Qatal, right? Okay, so if anyone remembers when we went over Qatal, we're going to be using the singular first person, all right? So it's going to be on Ya Qatal. It's like it. On Ya Qatal the Ya. Okay? Which means I killed. Right? Giving it past tense. Right? Okay? So remember you added the Ya at the end of it. Remember what I was telling you, it's gonna like start kind of rhyming, right? Okay, so you need the proper pronoun to formulate this sentence to make it a complete sentence, right? Anya gives you the I, right? Which lets you know what tense you're speaking in, okay? Whether you're speaking in first person, second person, or third person. It's going to let you know the conjugation of the verb, right? Which is qatal, which we're dealing with, right? In the qual stem in the perfect paradigm. All right. Does that make sense? Did I explain that? Since you got kind of a puzzled look. What's your question?
Why put anya when the qatal the ya already?
No, that's okay. So the conjugation, right, of this is when you're dealing with the first person, right? Okay. The only way that you know that you're dealing with the first person in the qual stem is by the pronoun before it that lets you know what you're dealing with. Okay? So there's no way that you can know how to conjugate a verb without the noun or pronoun. Right? Okay? So when you're dealing with a pronoun, right, previously probably a couple of verses up, it lets you know who I is, so you know who's talking. Okay? All right? So anya qatal thaya is I killed, right? So that is the conjugation of the common singular first person. Okay? All right. So now we're going to move on to you, masculine and feminine, right? Sorry, this is got to put the connectors on, yeah. All right. So next, all right. So next we have a thought, right? Which is you can be interchangeable between masculine and feminine. Okay. All right. So this, all right, in a sentence form is going to be a tha or tall the. You killed. All right. Is it starting to make sense?
So, okay, so it's like the only time you would really use, like, okay, so like what we did before, that was like just the word by itself,
right?
Just with nothing behind it or
right.
after. It's just...
So now what I'm doing, I'm giving you the understanding based off the pronoun, how you would conjugate the verb.
How you would. So let me look up the word conjugate.
All right, no sweat. Go ahead, brother. Yes, ma'am.
So, to get back to the first one, why not say Anya Salakia?
What do you mean?
Because Salakia means
Listen.
excuse me.
But what does that have to do with what we're doing?
Because Salakia.
Salakia is a conjugation of a action verb, right? So the prefix ya means me or my. So you wouldn't say Anya Salakia, you just say Salakia. Right? We're talking about when we're dealing with a sentence, right? In a qual stem, right? So in a sentence form, so if you see Anya, right? In like prime example, right? If Anya is in a sentence, there are words between us. When you get to the verb, that's going to be the conjugation. It's going to be the ya, right? So qual stem, it starts off at the beginning of the verse, right? So you'll see like waya, waha, wa-na, right? So you'll see at the beginning of the verse, it'll let you know, and we'll get into that, right? It lets you know that's a qual stem, right? Okay, at the beginning of the verse. So you'll know at the beginning of the verse, based off of how it starts off, what we're dealing with. Okay, so based off of that, within that verse, you're going to see one of these conjugations, right? Either you're going to see I, you, he, she, we, or they, and then you to complete a sentence, you have to have a verb, right? Which gives the voice or action of a noun, right? Whether it's stative, whether it's reflective, whether it's an action, right? Okay. So what this is just an example, right? By looking at something simple in sentence form to let you know how you would conjugate a verb, because you can't conjugate a verb without knowing the subject or context of the sentence. Does that make sense? Go ahead, brother.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I think I kind of I'm getting it. Like you wouldn't. So like how she was trying to say Salakia, it's like there's some words you would just say by itself, like
right.
Excuse me, that's just by itself.
Right.
But you wouldn't be sitting there unless you're like a maniac talking about what's tall.
Well, so like it's many ways to skin a cat, right?
Right.
So I can say Salakia Debaria, right? Excuse my words. Right? Or I can just say Salakia. You understand? Because my words offended you. You understand? I can say a full sentence. It's like people that use 5 words when 2 will do, or people just use like really, really big words or a simple word to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just depends on your stilo. So I'm just giving you examples of the form, right? Because like Qatal means to kill, right? So in this case, you have to know what we're talking about. Right. I can't say Qatal, right? Right. So that's second person, right? So that's a conversation, like me and you are having a conversation. Qatal, you killed. It's us talking, having a conversation, second person, right? Okay. This is a confession. Anya Katal Thaya, I killed. Right? It's a confession. Right? So this is giving the voice of the conversation, whether it's reflective, whether it's stative, or whether it's passive. Okay, go ahead, brother.
So I'm just trying to think like, so the word qatal means to kill because it's a verb.
Right.
So I'm thinking, what would, like, you need to kill this, you need to kill that cat, or you need to kill that dog. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so that
to see what that would.
So, like, prime example, right? So the subject of the sentence is the dog or the cat. So it would be calabra,
So
right?
it'd be like a thought, whatever need is, qatal, call.
No, because you, depending if whether you talk to a man or a woman, is qatal up. So you would say a thigh, whatever the word need is, qatal the calabra.
Qatal. No. A thought. No. Okay. So
let's write it out. All right. So we're gonna write it out. We're gonna do it together. Since we're on you, this is what class is for. All right. So we're gonna conjugate a full sentence using what we just learned. All right.
So in any instance, you wouldn't just say qatal by itself.
No.
Because it wouldn't even make sense.
It wouldn't make sense.
Because it'd be like, what? To kill what?
Right.
Or who does what to do the killing?
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Exactly. So that's why when you gave me an example of Salakia, I was saying, like, what stance or statement that you're trying to make a reference to what we're talking about? Because Salakia, right, is a statement in its own, right? Because you have the conjugation of the verb there. Right? Okay. I mean, if you wanted to be formal about it, you can say Anya Salakia. I mean, you're saying the same thing. All right? You're saying it. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. So basically, instead of saying, like, for example, the milk we're giving to the meat of the monkey.
There you go. There you go. So this like, if you can understand the stem, you can translate it. You can translate or transliterate anything, right? This is what gives the voice and context of the sentence, right? This is where you get into breaking down scripture, right? If you don't understand this, you can't transliterate nothing. Can't translate anything. If you have a basic understanding of this and prefixes and suffixes, when you hear a sentence, you can conjugate anything. Or you can at least know the subject matter and who or what they're talking about. Okay? All right? Okay. So we're dealing with the word need.
So like to say Anya Salakia in English would kind of be like, I excuse.
There you go.
Me.
There you go. Right. Which is like a double redundancy.
Yeah, it's like kind of weird.
Right.
I excuse me. I do the excusing.
Interesting.
Let's see.
I excuse you. Salakia.
All right. So need, right? Which is also a masculine noun, is Tazarak, right? So the sentence would be I'll write it in Hebrew first. So writing with the wrong doggone mark again. Use marker. Wow. All right. Matter of fact, I'll write it in this sentence. It's supposed to be an H right here. You need to kill dog. Actually, that's going to be ha calabra.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right. So, great example. Right. So the sentence will be Atha Tazarak Tal Tha Ha Calabra. You need to kill the dog.
Now, okay. Now I have another question.
Go ahead.
Let's say, like a scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Kaba is getting attacked.
You said what?
I said Kaba is getting attacked by
A cop?
Kaba.
Oh, Kaba Tazarak.
So Kaba's getting attacked by a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody's like, kill the dog. Would that just be Qatal, Hakalabra?
Right.
It would just be that Qatal instead of Qatal Tha, just Qatal Hakalabra.
Right.
It was. I see you, boy. You learning something, man.
Right, because I'm trying to piece it by pictures.
Right.
So you know, because that's how Hebrew is. It goes by
Visualization and context, right? So basically what we just did was we just put a whole sentence based off of Qatar Ba, which means you kill, right? We used the example because sis was like, well, I know Salakia is excuse me. So the formal way of saying that would be Anya Salakia. That's a double redundancy. Excuse me, right? You understand? So you just say, excuse me. But this is actually an action. Qatal means to kill, right? It's an action, right? So you would need a pronoun so you can understand the conjugation of what the verb is. So in this case, we said atha qatal tha. The brother gave an example. How would you say you need to kill the dog? Right? It's atha tazarat qatal tha hakalabra. Right? In other words, I'm gonna put lines so you can know the space between words because I wrote kind of tight. Right? So atha tazarat qatal tha hakalabra. Right? I'll let you write it down since you just got here. Mafia. Okay. Let me check YouTube, make sure you don't have any answers. What's the time check?
8:50.
Oh shit, we right on the marker. Right on the money. All right. So I'll stop right here because we dealing with perfect paradigm. Now, since you asking, do you have any questions on how you would say anything based off of what we just went over? Anybody?
Think of an instance, scenario.
All right, so we're gonna use the other example that the brother gave, right? So it's a situation where a brother or a sister is getting attacked, right? You understand? And it's just like, it's one of the situations we don't got time to be formal, right? Kill the dog. Kill the damn dog. Kill the dog. Kill the damn dog. All right? Okay. So in that case, right, it's just going to be something simple, right? Okay. Qatal means to kill, right? Which is an action, right? It's an action, right? So we're going to have, I keep using the wrong damn marker. Good night. Okay. So we're going to use, I'll write in Hebrew first. Then I got one. Okay. Somebody. All right. So other example that the brother gave was when you're in a thicket, you understand, with a situation, you understand, you got time to be formal, kill the dog. You understand? It's gonna be Qatal HaKalabra, right? Which is conjugated by the prefix use of the word, right? So today we've gone over the qual stem, only dealing with the perfect paradigm. Now you got the imperfect paradigm, it's a whole bunch of different type of paradigms, right? But today just went over the perfect paradigm, and I didn't even go over all of the pronouns of conjugating the word. Actually, you know what I'm saying? Because we started late, I can go a little bit over, right? All right, well, I'll go through all the rest of the conjugate. Everybody got this part down here? Monty?
I'm keeping it right now, sir.
All right, no sweat. All right. So I'm gonna go over the rest of the conjugation of the pronouns, right? So the pronoun lets you know the conjugation of the verb. Okay. No sweat. How much more? Where you at?
Slocky, sir, I'm at a thigh. You, male, female.
Oh, you up here?
Come on, concept.
Okay, so can I erase all of this?
Come on, concept.
You sure?
What do you mean all the way?
From these two all the way across.
I haven't made it all the way across. It's you. I got from the top down from you know.
Okay, but it's going that way though.
Yeah, I haven't got that part yet.
All right, so get that part so I can erase this whole middle. Matter of fact, just get Matazai's notes real quick. Matazai, can you let him borrow your tablet while I erase this?
Well, I already did it.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna conjugate the rest of the pronouns. And then we'll just stop there since we started late. Okay. All right.
Question.
Go ahead, sis.
Um,
I'm gonna write as you talk. Go ahead.
the word for talk means to kill, right?
Right, the action to kill.
Is there a informal way of saying for talk?
What you saying, like just kill?
Like,
I think she means imperfect. Is that what? Because mentioned perfect and imperfect.
Yeah. So that there is. That's the imperfect paradigm. We ain't get to that. So that'll be next class, going over the imperfect paradigm or the qual stem, right? So, but I want you to get these pronouns because these pronouns form majority of every sentence. Okay. All right. So next pronoun we're going to be dealing with is go ahead.
Is the word so in Hebrew?
What do you mean?
Like the example, kill the dog so we can go home. Like it's so.
It's implied. So cause Aman is so be it.
So be it.
It's implied, right? So like you can't think English transliterated into Hebrew.
Right.
It's Hebrew transliterated into English.
Right.
Right. So that's like so is like a filler word, like there, like was. You know what I'm saying? It's a filler word, right? So it's implied based on the context of use and how it's being used. Okay. All right. So Hawaii. Okay. So in this case, this is when you would use the first one, which is the masculine singular third person. It would be ha wa I wa tall, which is he healed. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. He's gonna need the masculine second, like the actual conjugation of it, like what it means, like masculine second, third person, stuff like that. Or whatever. He's gonna need that, but he can get that after class. All right. So with Hawa and Hawa Ya, you're going to use the mass. Oh, Slaki. Where's my eraser? Oh. All right. So you're going to use the masculine singular third person form of Qatal. All right. So in this case, so he is Hawa'a, right? She is Hawaya. So the masculine singular third person would be Hawa'a Qatal, which means he killed, right? The masculine singular third person of Qatal is Qatala, so it would be Hawaya Qatala, which is she killed, right? So we're putting these things into action, okay? All right. There we go. Next. Okay. All right. So next we have a knock Noah, which means we. All right. The conjugation of Qatal would be a knock Noah, Qatal Noah, which means we kill. All right, we got 4 more. Let me know once you guys have this, and I'll erase it and do the last 4. Let me know when you got it.
I got everything except the last 3 on the left side.
How are you writing? Should be writing from.
I couldn't write that because this was in the way, so I wrote everything I could see.
Oh, most of it. We'll have to work that out. All right. So you just writing down this part right here, right? All right, that's good. So I can do the first 2 and all of this side, right? All right, that's good. All right. All right, next one so you can see. So the next one we're going to be dealing with is you, masculine plural, and you feminine plural, right? So oral. All right. So the next one is a thumb, right? A thumb is the masculine plural of you, which is in the South, y'all, or you all, right? I'll put you all in parentheses for you Northerners and Midwesters, right? Okay. So the masculine plural form of you is y'all or you all. So it would be a thumb, tall thumb, which is y'all killed or you all killed. You understand? But in the South, we got to draw. We say y'all. You understand? Okay. So the feminine version of that, Monty, I'm going to assume that you're done with the bottom, correct?
Come on, sir.
All right. That's good. All right. So the feminine plural version of you is a thon. So it'd be a thon, quatal, thon. Y'all killed, talking to a group of women. Okay. Right. right? So the last two is hum and ham, right? Hum, right, is they masculine plural. Han is they feminine plural. Okay? So hum in the sense would be hum qatal wa, which is they killed, masculine, right? In feminine, it would be han qatal wa, which is they killed, feminine. No, not ham, hum. Right? So you're confusing English and Hebrew, right? Because ham in Hebrew is chum, right? Okay. So with that said, you know what I'm saying? This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Hall, New York, under commanding during YAHANNA. You understand? This is the Lashawan Qadash Friday class. You understand? Breaking down our culture, our language, you understand, in a practical form, you understand, so that we can learn to converse with one another, breaking down these key principles, because like we went over the Qualston today. I understand these stems helps you conjugate and transliterate scripture. Without this foundation or framework, you would not be able to translate. And this is why the different stems are so important. So with that, I'm going to say Shalom, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shabbat to my brothers, and Shalom, Yahweh Shema, the Thun, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah to all of my sisters. And with that, we go. Yes, ma'am.